Hey guys, so a couple weeks ago I had made a post on Facebook asking if I did a makeup tutorial, if anyone would be willing or interested in watching it, and I did get a decent amount of responses, as far as from likes to, a couple comments. So I thought, why not? Let's go ahead and make one and see if people find it useful or helpful. So that's what we're going to be doing today, is making a makeup tutorial. So in this tutorial, I'm basically going to be doing a full face. I'm not going to call it a glam full face, but we're going to do some contouring. We're gonna, use at least 3 or 4 different shades on the eye. So hopefully you find this helpful. Drop in the comments if there's other videos you would like to see, or if there are other, tutorials or tips you would like. So without further ado, let's get started. So the first thing I'm gonna be doing today in this tutorial, which, let me backtrack a little bit. I've done a couple things before I started to film, actually. I moisturized and I primed my face, and I used this primer right here. I don't know if you guys can see it. It's the L'Oreal primer, and it has like that luminous finish. It's L'Oreal Magic. If you have combo skin, like normal to dry, this is a great primer. It gives a little bit of a glow. If you have oily skin, as long as you're not prone to like breakouts, I think you would still be okay to use it. It does have a small blurring effect. Personally, I don't have larger pores, so that's not an issue for me. But if you're looking for something that blurs a little more, this may not be the best primer for you. But if you're looking for something that just has a little bit of a blur that can give you a little bit of that glow look underneath the foundation, you can actually even mix this with your foundation if you want, then this is a great primer. I got it at Ulta. I think it retails between like 12 to 14. I can't remember exactly how much I paid for it, but it was definitely between $12 and $14. So I've already done that, and I already did my brows. The reason I did that is because it takes me a little bit, a little longer than I would like to do my brows. So I didn't want to waste your time, you seeing me basically huff and puff and say, oh no, and having to redo and whatnot. But the pencil I actually use is the Goof Proof pencil. Goof Proof pencil by Benefit Cosmetics. It's this one right here. I use it in the shade of 6 because I have pretty dark brows, but it's a really great pencil. So let's go ahead and get started with what I would do next. So let's backtrack. I've already moisturized, I've primed, I've done my eyebrows. So what I'm going to start out first with is the eyes. So what I like to do, I don't necessarily use a primer per se on my eyes. I mean, I have in the past, but what I've been using recently, and I found it to be way better than just a primer meant specifically for eyes, is the Tarte Shape Tape Concealer. I'm just going to put some of that, just a little bit, on each lid here. And I'm going to take my smaller beauty blender. Well, it's technically by Real Techniques. It's not like the official beauty blender, but in my opinion, it's way better than the actual beauty blender itself. And like, that's what a lot of people say. They prefer this over the brand name beauty blender. And it's a pretty good price. I think you can get like 2 of these for $10. And see, that creates basically a nice base for us to put our shadow over, and it's going to help keep that shadow intact all day. But as you can see, it just lightens it up just a bit there. So we have a nice base color to work with. And if it happens to get, as you can see, some of mine did get under my eye, it's not a big deal because we're going to be going underneath there with foundation anyway. And also another reason I like to do this is just because it brightens up that eye in general on top. So it kind of makes everything pop a little more. So we used our beauty blender, and just so you know, I did dampen this before we started the video. You always want to dampen, wring it out a couple times when you're using a beauty blender. So since we went ahead and we have applied that base, I'm going to go in with one of my, if I can find it. Oh, here we go. My apologies. Going to go ahead and go in with one of my blending eyeshadow brushes. It's really important to have a blending brush, because if you try to go in on that crease, especially in the beginning with that transitional shade with like something, let's say, really small like this, it's just gonna splot in one area. So you wanna use a nice blending eye brush for this. And today I'm gonna be using my Too Faced palette. It's a little dirty because I use it all the time. It's Too Faced. It's the Chocolate Gold palette. I'm going to be going in with a transitional shade. So what I mean by transitional shade, it's this color right here. Oh, there we go. The So Bougie. Some people like to start out with the lid. That's fine. Personally, I like to start from top, make my way to the corners, and then do the lid last, just because I feel like it's a little cleaner that way. You're not going to have fallout on your lid. You're not going to have to go back and retouch. So we're going to go with that transitional shade. And we're going to do that in the crease. And you do want to tap off the excess. And some people like to do windshield wipers. Some people do circular motions. I kind of do a little bit of both. So I'm going to start right here. And as you can see where I'm holding my brush, it's more towards the tip. And the reason we do that is because the further up you choke up on the actual brush, the harsher the shadow goes on, like the firmer it goes on. And we want this to be nice and light. And we're just going to keep going. And I go into the inner corner just a smidge, just with this transitional shade. See, and I'm rocking it. See, and pretty much all the products off of that brush. So I'm going to go back in and do it again. Get it on that tip. Tap the excess. And we're going to do the same thing. Back and forth in little circular motions. Yeah. And I don't really close my eyes whenever I do my shadow anymore, because who walks around like that, you know what I mean? So you kind of do want to keep your eye open, and you're wanting to, I'm obviously doing it in the crease, but I'm feathering up just a little bit on that brow bone, as you can see, like right underneath it. Okay. Let's see. See the difference? So that's nice. So we're going to go in on the other side with that. Tap it off. And I don't know about you guys, but one eye, for whatever reason, always does so much better than the other eye. It's just like meant to not match or something. I don't know. So I always have to really work one eye more than the other. And it's this eye that I'm doing right now, so. And I'm just doing some circular motions. I'm feathering it out. I need a little bit more on my brush. Tap off the excess. Whoops. It's so funny when you're like looking at the camera and doing this, because everything's reversed. So just bear with me. I'm sorry if I goof up a little bit. I'm just still trying to get used to it. We're gonna just rock it in that inner corner too. Then we're gonna do some circular motions, feather it out. And I still feel like this one needs a little more. Isn't that funny? Because like I said, this eye never takes the shadow. Like, I don't know, my skin just doesn't, I don't know if you want to say absorb it. So I always have to like do quite a bit more on this eye than I do the other one. This is my problem eye. Okay. I think we're good now though. Okay, so as you see, I got a nice transitional shade. Very nice. Okay, so then after that, I'm going to go in with, it's still a blending brush. It's just a little bit more tapered, as you can see the difference between the two. This one's my fluffy one, so that's great for that bigger area. But I'm going to be going in to the crease a little more and on kind of feathering it onto the lid a little bit. So I do want to have a little bit more of a precise brush for that. So I'm going to go in with the next color. It is darker. It is the Cocoa Truffle. I'm just going to, oops, I actually just totally dipped that in there, and you don't want that to happen. So I'm kind of like trying to brush some of it off. There we go. So, all right. And I have a mirror down here too, and that always helps. But so for, especially for this, because I have to be a lot more precise with it, we're going to go into the crease a little deeper, and we're going to feather it in right there on that outer crease. We're going to feather it in onto the lid just a little bit, as you can see. And you just want to do circular motions. And you can also rock it back and forth. Kind of do that little C shape into that. You don't want to go too far out on the V with this one because we're going to go in with a darker shade for that. So you kind of want to keep it more so feathered onto the lid, as you can see what I'm doing here. Now, I will tell you, I mean, you don't have to go in with that. The next shade we're going to do is a darker shade. You can just keep it at this if you're wanting more of the natural look. Especially, I know people who work in like offices and stuff, they like something they can just do a little quicker. So as far as the darker shade, you can just stop here. I mean, and as you can see, as far other than doing the lid, that looks pretty good. But we're going to just blend this out a little more because I think it's still a little bit harsh. And we're just blending it right into the crease there on the outside. I'm not going over completely like I did with that transitional shade because that would just make a big mess. So I think that looks really nice like that. Okay, here comes my problem eye. Let's see if I can get it to look as nice as the other one. So once again, I'm just going to keep it at the crease, taper it in onto the lid, and we're going, and it's so funny because, you know, I'm doing it to the opposite eye, so it's backwards in the other one, so I have to like remember my motions are kind of the opposite as the other eye. This one you can close your eyes a little bit for, I think, because you do need to get the lid, so feel free to do that if you feel it necessary. But as you can see, this time this one took the darker shadow so much better than the other. But see, that's a really nice transition. And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to go back in with that the bigger blender brush, which, and I didn't mention this before, this is from IT Cosmetics. I've had this brush for a while. I like the IT Cosmetics. They are more pricier, but they're great brushes. I love those brushes. You don't have to get like a super high-end one, but I do like these brushes. So, okay, so we blended that in just a little bit, as you can see. And like I said, if you don't want to go to the next step, this would be great just to do your lid and pop a little highlighter up here and you could be done with the eyeshadow. But I'm going to go a step further. I'm going to take the next shade, the darkest shade in the palette, which would be the next one. And that's the Decadent. And this is my trouble area. So I'm working on trying to fix this too. I always feel like I overblend or I put too much product on. So we're going to go really light with this because you can always build. It's a lot harder to take away. It takes a lot more time. So I'm just going to go on this outer V on this eye and I'm going to make like a C shape basically. And I'm going to cut it in because that works with my eye shape. We're going to cut that in just a little bit. And then I'm going to put a little bit more on there and I'm just going to pat it right here in that inner corner. Okay. Then I'm going to take the bigger blender again and I'm just going to go in that curve of my eye. And you want to try to, you don't want to, I'm trying to V it up more because I want it to get more of that V shape on the outside. I don't want it to blend down. I want to blend it like up and in that nice sharp look. And what you can do also is take your the brush we used before for that cut cocoa truffle, and you can actually marry those just a little. It helps the Decadent blend out a little bit more without it being so harsh, like black, you know. And then we can V that just a little bit. See, that's really nice. And I know a lot of people are thinking, oh, that looks kind of dark. Well, it is right now. We still got to blend, so I'm blending just a little bit more. And what's great is when we go in to do our foundation and concealer, we can clean up and sharpen it just a little bit. See, that looks, I think that looks so nice. So we're gonna go back and do the same thing on my problem eye. This eye never turns out, like I said, as good as the other one. I think like everyone has that because I've heard so many people. So once again, we're gonna do that C. I'm not gonna go too far up in the crease. And we're gonna curve it and just bring it right in there. Perfect. And then I'm gonna get a little bit more product and I'm just gonna blob it in there. Just smudge it in, not too much. And then I'm gonna take that blender again and we're gonna blend it just a smudge, or just a smidge. Okay. And once again, I will take that smaller, more tapered eyeshadow blender and we'll kind of marry those two colors with the Cocoa Truffle. That way, like I said, it's not such the harsh line. So we'll do that. And we're not going above, we're just gonna going like right on top of it. That's nice. That's working really, really nice, exactly how I want it to. See how nice that looks? And we'll go back over with the blender one more time. The big blender from IT Cosmetics. And I failed to mention, and I feel bad because these other brushes are great too. They're for Morphe. They're very affordable and they honestly do a really good job. So as you can see, that looks pretty even. I'm pretty happy with that. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna go in on the lash. I'm sorry, not the lash. We're gonna go in on the lid. And I'm gonna be using this beautiful color in this palette. It is called Classy and Sassy. Let's see, there you go. It's a nice, like, metallic shade. And we are gonna start right here on the inner corner, bring it up. I have a little more of a lid area. It's not a hooded lid. I just like have a bigger lid, I guess you could say. So I like to bring mine up just a smidge. That way, like when your eyes are actually open, you can actually see it. And as you can see, I'm leaving that middle kind of like untouched right now, and I'm going to show you why in just a second. So we're going to go back in with that same color on the other eye. And if you want, you can always wet the shadow brush. As you can see, I'm using a very flat one, very precise, meant just for things like this. You can wet it that way. It gets more pigment. There's more pigment on the lid. And we're just working it in. That's really nice. Too Faced makes great eyeshadow palettes. Like if you're ever willing to spend like a little more money, a lot more money on an eyeshadow palette, I would recommend anything from Too Faced because that doesn't have a lot of fallout and it just stays all day, I think. Okay, so what I'm going to do now, I told you I let the middle of the lid kind of just naked basically. So I'm going to go back in with this color called Gold Dipped. Let me see if I can pull it up here. There we go, Gold Dipped. And we're going to just tap it on there. It really doesn't matter, I think, what kind of brush you use for this one. I personally like to use like, not the flat one like I did for the inner lid, just because I want to be able to spread it a little bit more. And then what we're going to do, I need to be able to, whoops, wrong brush. I want to blend just a little bit more after we've done that. I'm going to try to blend up. Perfect. I'm going to do the other eye. I'm sorry if my mirror keeps getting in the way. I'm trying really hard to keep that out of the frame. And then I too kind of like just take it over like that on the lid too, just to kind of make sure the lines aren't too harsh. There. That looks super nice. Okay, so the last step I'm going to do is I'm going to throw the last step for like the upper eyes. We are going to add just a pop of highlight, and I'm using a highlighter color from a different palette this time. You could use from that palette if that's the palette you have. I mean, a lot of people, it's a pretty popular palette, but the one I'm using, once again, it is from Too Faced, and it's the Life is a Festival. It was their unicorn palette, as I call it. I got it last spring or last summer, and I love that palette. I think I'll do a tutorial with that one sometime, just because it's fun. It has like some really, really cool colors in it. They're kind of vibrant, so it's more of a bolder look, but hey, it's okay to do something different, right? And once again, I want to just blend a little bit more. You're gonna see when you do your own eyeshadow, like once you think you're done, it's like, actually, no, I'm not. There's still a few more things. There, that looks better. I'm just blending it up a little bit to smoke it up. That way the line isn't so harsh. Okay, that's better. Perfect. So then what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna take the tapered brush that we use, blender brush, and I'm just gonna go in with that So Bougie color, that transitional shade that we had used, and I'm gonna actually mix it just a tiny bit with that Cocoa Truffle, and I'm going to I'm gonna try to look up so you guys can see. I'm gonna put it just right beneath that lower lash line. I feel like I make the stupidest faces because I can't see. Some people will do multiple colors, and I've done it before, but just for the sake of this video, I feel like just technically doing, I mean, it's 2 colors mixed, but just doing the one underneath is a little more simple. Okay, so now you have that underneath the lashes, and I just actually kind of want to V it up right there in the crease. I'm sorry, not the crease, the outer eye there, just so it kind of matches and meets, and they kind of just blend the two together. So there's that. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to go apply some mascara, and we're going to do eyeliner. The only reason I'm not showing you guys that is because I'm not too thrilled with the eyeliner that I have. I mean, it's not a bad eyeliner, it's just not my favorite, so I kind of got to work with it when I use it. It's the Infallible Super Slim Liquid Eyeliner by, I think, L'Oreal. So I'm going to go throw that on, then we're going to get back and we're going to go into foundation and contouring. Okay, so I went ahead and just did a light liner on the top, right there on the lash line, and I applied some mascara. The mascara I used, it's actually a free one that I got, but I've used it in the past. I'm just using it until I run out, so I don't have to buy one before now and then. It's Too Faced Better Than Sex mascara, and it is a really good mascara. I just used literally 1 coat of this, and it did a phenomenal job. So now we're done with the eyes, and what I want to jump into next is foundation. So the foundation that I'm going to be using is the foundation I always use. I've been using it for like 1.5 years or 2 years, and it is the best foundation, in my opinion, ever. It is by IT Cosmetics. It is the CC Cream, and this is in the Luminous finish. This is like, I think, the second to lightest shade that they have because I'm pretty pale. But this is considered a full coverage cream. But really, if you put it on lighter, I mean, it can give more of a lighter coverage. It's very buildable, so it can be what you want it to be. But personally, it's just so smooth. It doesn't feel heavy. It gives you whatever coverage you want it to give. And I think it's just great. So we're going to go ahead and go in with my huge beauty blender. I've already dampened it. If you use a brush, that's fine. Personally, I'm a pusher on the beauty blender because it just does such a good job. Like, people say, well, it uses more product. Well, with the brush though, you keep going in and having to apply more product. So yeah, the product's in your brush, but really you're not getting all that product out anyway. So I think that's a kind of an argument that can be applied, but you know. So we're just going all over the face. The jawline, up around the nose, under that eye, and look what I was saying. We can clean that up, and look, I sharpened that right up there. Okay. And this is just one pump, like not even a big pump. So you get a lot out of this foundation. Like unfortunately, I don't get to do like a full face every day. Some days I don't even get to put on makeup because I have a 10-month-old, but this lasts a while. So it's a great foundation. Okay, and then I'm just gonna go in on the other side here. And I'm gonna do another pump. And I like to start, everyone's different. Some people like to apply it but I just literally put it on my hand, dab some on the Beauty Blender, and then just really I do the eye area first because I like to make sure if there was any fallout from that eyeshadow, we can just clean it right up, see? Isn't that amazing? Look at that. So good. It does such a good job. So if you're in the market for a new foundation and it is a little more, it's going to be more, expensive than buying something, from the drugstore or something, but it's worth it. I always think a good foundation, you can pick and choose like where you put your money. Like, I don't think you need a super expensive primer. I don't think you need a super expensive eyeliner. I think like you need to be able to have a good eyeshadow palette. But like there are other ones even now, like is it ColourPop and I think Morphe, like $15 for a palette. And like even now, like a lot of the drugstore palettes, they're like close to that price anyway. So I mean, if you're not wanting to like spend the money on Too Faced or Tarte or something, those are great options. And I think they're great products too. I just happen to be a fan of Too Faced and that's what I used today. Okay. Awesome. Then I'm just going to go up on the forehead. I did half a pump. So literally I got away with doing my whole face and the neck area and my forehead with 2.5 pumps of foundation, which I think is awesome. So I'm just going to blend that over. I probably should have pulled my hair like back, but it makes my face look real fat, so I didn't want to do that. I was trying to look good, okay? Sue me. Okay, so as you can see, that gives a nice, really nice, smooth finish. So now that we have that done, we're going to go in and we're going to contour. And I'm going to be using, once again, this little puppy. And I've already dampened my Beauty Blender, like I said before. And we're going to go back in with that same concealer we used in the beginning for the eyes to do the base. It's the Tarte Shape Tape. Can you guys see that? It's like a shade lighter or so than the foundation. Now, some people, they take it under and then they take it down. That's like a big area for me. And I don't know. I don't want it to go down that far. So I just do like a little triangle. That's literally what I do. And I don't even fill that triangle in because this is like such a good, I don't know, coverage. It's so hard. Like I crossed my eyes. Did you guys see that? Look at that. Okay. This is so hard to do. Bam, right in the middle. Boom. Let's see. And then that. Oh my God, this is so hard. Oh, there we go. I just kind of do like that. I'm going to do a little bit on my chin. It's so weird because everything is in reverse. So I'm like crossing my eyes looking at stuff. I'm sorry. You guys can laugh at me. It's fine. It doesn't hurt. It doesn't hurt my feelings. Okay, so we're going to go and we're going to blend this out underneath the eye. Okay. I just want to right there because I get like kind of red right there, so that's why I like to conceal right there. And see, I didn't have to go all the way down because I think it just depends on the space between like your cheekbone and like the under eye area. Like that's just me though. I'll go back on that side and reblend. I just want to try to get it while it's nice and wet still before it starts to set. So that's why. And see that even that concealer, it cleans it up just a bit. Okay. And we're going to go up the middle of the nose. And then just up here in this area and dab it out. And kind of roll it just because, just because I'm different. I don't know. Okay. And we're going to. Then I'm going to do the chin. And as you can see, that really just brightened up underneath. Now, if you're pale like me, sometimes that can tend, I don't know, to feel like it washes you out like underneath. So I go in with a powder, which is just going to kind of help set my makeup anyway. I'm just using the Infallible Pro Glow by L'Oreal. And I'm just going to go right underneath of that where I highlighted. And see, that adds just a little bit of color back to that area right there. And it's going to set the foundation anyway, so, and do it around here. And that just adds it back just a bit. Great. Okay. Perfect. So, now what I'm going to do is go in with my darker, I guess you want to say it's a matte bronzer. You don't ever really want to go in with a shimmery one when you're trying to contour because for one, it just doesn't give that chisel effect. You can go over it, I think, with it if you want. That's fine. But it's always best to go in with a matte bronzer when you're trying to contour and get a little more of, you know, definition. So I'm going in, this is newer for me. It's by Smashbox. It was, I think, part of their holiday collection because it's called Holidays Contour and Spotlight Palette. The contour color I go in is the Cool shade. It's this one right here. I don't know, it's hard to focus in on that. It looks a little brighter than what it is, so there we go. It's a cooler color. But it's pretty pigmented, I feel. So you be careful whenever you use some of these contours and tap it off. And I'm actually gonna be looking down in a mirror. Now I'm gonna start like right, I have pretty high cheekbones, so I'm gonna start like right here. And I'm using a Morphe contour brush. It's the M530. They have one that's a little bigger. Personally, I just like this one. It's just very precise, but the other one I think would be great too if that's what you have. So, okay, let's try this. So I even do the little face, so I'm gonna go right under that cheekbone. I'm going to pick up a little more. And as you can tell, I'm going in circular motions. You never really want to blend down. You want to blend up. You always want to blend up. So, as you can see, we're starting to get some coverage there. And I try not to go up here because that will make the face appear more rounder. And I already have a pretty round face. So, I'm trying not to go too up high on the temple. So I'm going to go in with the other one, and we're going to go back and blend over too, so don't worry. Sucking that cheekbone in. Blending up. Right underneath. And you know what though, but honestly, I forgot a step. And I'm going to go back and do it. I forgot to set my under eye. Dang it. Okay. Crap. Okay, so we're gonna, don't worry, I'm gonna blend some of that out too. So just calm down. If you're my sister, if this is Erin, that looks a little dark. Like, that doesn't match. Well, it's contouring. It's supposed to be a little darker. Anyway, I'm gonna blend it out some more, and we're gonna do some blush and highlight. So it's all gonna come together, guys, I swear. But literally what I need to do, because this is important, because I just knocked over some stuff, sorry. We're going to go in with that Beauty Blender, And what I'm using to set underneath the eye, which I forgot to do, I always do this before I start adding my contour, but I didn't. It's this RCMA, the original No Color Powder. So I'm just dabbing the tip of my Beauty Blender in it. And we're just going to go right underneath where we have put that concealer. And we're literally just going to dab it in. It's fine for this time. Personally, I do not like to start any type of like that contouring before I set the under eye, but we're going to make an exception because I'm not redoing everything. That's a waste of product. Like, I like you guys a lot and I want to make this video, but literally, that's a lot of product to try to just redo it. In fact, I was making a video last night, but it didn't turn out how it had some issues and technical difficulties, and I had to waste a lot of product. So clearly, you guys, you know, I'm trying to do this. Just please bear with me. I'm taking that brush and kind of dusting some of that excess. Okay, so we set the under eye, and look, you can already tell it's like brighter underneath. So I just set that and it's fine. Now, that wasn't baking. If we were going to bake, literally, that would be after I set my eye. Then I would put a ton more on it and let it set for like 15 minutes, but I'm not doing that today. So I'm going to blend that out a little more. I cannot believe I forgot to do that. I'm so freaking mad. That looks nice though. Okay. Then I'm actually going to take, it's actually a brush that I got with a, what palette was. I think it was one of the Urban Decay palettes, which I'm just not a fan of them. I don't know. Some people really like them. I just don't. I think they're not pigmented. They have fallout, but the brush is pretty good. So I'm going to be using that to contour on my nose. You want to tap it out once again because this one can get pretty, when you start doing your nose, you don't want the line to be too cray-cray. You can see that little bit of a shadow line there. We're going to do the other side. I'm trying not to get the mirror in. I'm sorry, guys. I'm real sorry. And I kind of go up like right where the eyebrow almost like has that curve before you go into the eye. And see, just that little bit makes a difference. And we're going to go right back in here. And I'm going to just V it in a bit. And then I put a little bit over the tip there. Just a little bit, okay? Then I'm going to go back with this brush. And we're going to do the forehead area, like right here. Give it some color. Like I said, I'm sorry I didn't pull my hair back all the way. I just didn't want my face to look too round. And I'm going to kind of take this brush that I used before, the big powder brush, and just buff that out a bit, okay? Then I'm going to go back on the jaw. There's no really specific order you have to do this in. It's just kind of whatever makes you, and it's all the same color I've been using still. I'm going to go on that chin. Okay. And I feel like this side needs to be just a little bit more. There we go. That looks a little better. Okay. So then after that, I'm just going to go in with a little bit of blush. I'm going to put just more on the apples of my cheeks because I already have a really round face anyway. So I don't want to go too far down because then it makes me look even rounder. So I'm just using, I've had this for such a long time. This is from Benefit. It's Sugar Bomb. You can see the box is a little, it's been through some stuff. So it's been through a couple moves. You know, it's been dropped. It almost got submerged in water once, but I saved it, so it didn't. It's fine. I'm just using this little blush brush. I think this is Eco Tools. I've had this for a while. And I'm gonna use a mirror because when you're looking at the monitor and doing it, it looks nice, but you really still want to use a actual mirror to see. So I'm just honestly using one of my palette mirrors. So I'm just gonna smile, apply that right on the apples and up the cheekbone, but not too much on the temple area. It's funny because I remember like being younger and going into like Ulta and stuff, and they would like, yeah, we're gonna like curve it with the, do you guys remember Bare Minerals, like the rust color, which was nice, but like they would bring it all the way up, and now, you know, they say, no, you're not supposed to do that. So it's funny how things evolve. How they change, even in the world of makeup. Which I think is awesome. Because I love makeup. Okay, and then we got a little blush on there that looks really nice. And then the last thing I'm going to do as far as the contouring and highlighting and everything, I'm going to go in with my amazing, guys, this is the best palette you can use for your, like, for glowing and highlighting. It's the Anastasia Beverly Hills Glow Kit, the Sugar. I'm going to go in, which color is it? Gumdrop? Yes, I'm going to go in with Gumdrop. And once again, I have to use a mirror because I don't trust. It's not that I don't trust you guys, it's I don't trust this monitor. So, and we're going to just slightly pop that right up. I do mine right here. Some people just do it on the apples, but I like to go up. Oh, yes. Yes. I don't know if you guys, since you probably can't see, but it looks nice. Look how, like, just luminous it is. Like, there's nothing matte about me. Like, seriously. Like, I love to glow. I love a shimmer. I love a glow. I love it. And then I'm going to go on the tip of my nose. Boop, boop, boop. Just a little shine. And I'm also just going to do a little bit on the upper lip right there. That looks nice. That looks really good. I'm real happy with it all. Okay. Then I'm just going to do lips. I'm doing just a very simple lip. This is, I usually use, I don't know if you've heard of Nude Sticks. I usually use that one, but I'm going to be honest. I needed to sharpen it, and I didn't feel like sharpening it. I was being lazy. So this is one, this is Ulta Beauty Lip and Cheek Color Stick. It says it's mauve, but I really don't think it's mauve. Honestly, it looks more like a rusty berry color to me, but that's fine. My, this is actually my sister-in-law's. Sometimes when we get like new makeup, we're like, yeah, you can try this or try that. So, hey, Rachel, I'm trying this. So it's just a stick. It's just like a crayon, but it actually does pretty good. So, it's a little, because my lips are kind of chapped, so it looks a little, it's not bad. It's not great either, but it's not the lipstick, it's me. So, we're gonna smooth it out a bit. Just a natural kind of, you know, lip there. So that's it. I mean, I know that seems like that took forever. It won't take you as long, I promise, once you start doing it a couple times. And obviously, because I'm explaining how to do things, it took me longer. I can usually do this whole look within about 15 minutes. So that's not bad. I mean, we can do, if you guys want to see, you know, a video as far as doing a more subtle, which I think this is pretty, this isn't like a heavy glam look. I feel like you could do this as an everyday look. I mean, like I said before in the video, you could always not apply the last shade, you know, the darker shade to the corners, and you could have left it with more of that matte brown, and that could have been like more natural. But I feel like this is a really great look that you can either go daytime or honestly nighttime. We could always do a heavier lip, or, you know, even winging out the liner, and that could change it to an evening look. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video nonetheless, and let me know if there's any other videos you want to see or any other techniques like you want to see me try out that I probably will suck at in the beginning, and we can laugh about it together. So thanks for watching, and have a great day.